Okay, let's just dive right into this. We have all experienced that sudden stomach-dropping moment, right? You reach into your bag, you frantically check your back pocket, you literally tear apart your hotel room, and the realization just washes over you. Your passport is gone. It is a uniquely terrible feeling. But welcome to this explainer, where we're going to take that massive ball of stress and turn it into a simple, actionable checklist. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to replace a lost or stolen US passport, making sure your identity is completely protected so you can get back to traveling as quickly as possible.
So you lost your passport. First things first, do not panic. I know it feels like an absolute crisis right now, but taking a deep breath is literally step one. Yes, losing a highly sensitive government document is a big deal, but it's also a completely solvable, finite problem. The US State Department deals with thousands of these cases every single year. You know, you aren't the first person to accidentally leave a passport on a train, and you for sure won't be the last. We've got a clear, step-by-step roadmap to get you out of this bureaucratic emergency.
And here is that exact roadmap. 1. Report it missing immediately. 2. Gather your forms and documents. 3. Apply in person. 4. We'll break down the fees. And 5. Tracking and receiving it. Let's get right into it.
Phase 1. Report it missing immediately to protect your identity.
Look, before you even think about planning your next trip or running out to get a new photo taken, you have to cancel that missing document so no one else can use it to travel or, worse, steal your identity. Once it's reported missing, it is officially dead in the system, which means even if you miraculously find it under the couch tomorrow, it's completely invalid for travel. Now, you've got 3 options to report it: online, by mail using Form DS-64, or in person when you eventually apply for the replacement. I highly recommend the online option. It is by far the fastest. If you report it missing online, the State Department can usually cancel the passport within 1 single business day, and they'll send you a confirmation. Getting that immediate peace of mind? Absolutely priceless.
A quick aside on this. If you know for a fact your passport wasn't just misplaced, but actively stolen, you really should consider filing a police report. Now, the State Department doesn't automatically require a police report for every single lost passport situation, but it's a very smart move if theft was involved. If you do file one, make sure you get a physical copy of it and bring it with you to your eventual application appointment. The State Department is going to ask for specific details about when and where it went missing, so having that report backs up your story.
Phase 2. Gather your forms and documents and prepare your replacement toolkit.
You can't just walk into a government office empty-handed and ask for a new passport, right? Getting a replacement requires a very specific toolkit of documents to prove you are exactly who you say you are. And this brings us to one of the biggest traps people fall into. When you normally renew a passport, you use Form DS-82, and you can easily just apply by mail. Do not try that here. If your passport is lost or stolen, you cannot just use the normal renewal process. You absolutely must use Form DS-11, and you must apply in person. The State Department is incredibly strict on this. Lost, stolen, or damaged passports automatically trigger that mandatory in-person DS-11 protocol.
So what exactly goes into this toolkit? Let's walk through the actionable checklist. First up, Form DS-11, which is the application itself. Second, Form DS-64, your official statement of loss or theft. Third, your proof of U.S. citizenship, like a U.S. birth certificate. Now, if you don't have that handy, a file search might be required, which does come with its own separate fee. Fourth, a photo ID like a driver's license, and you need to bring both the original and a photocopy. Fifth, 1 new, valid passport photo. And lastly, any previous passport details you might remember, plus that police report if you ended up filing one.
Okay, I need you to listen closely to this part. When you're sitting at home, carefully filling out all your personal details on Form DS-11, keep your pen far away from the signature line. Seriously, this is a classic, frustrating mistake. You must absolutely not sign this form until you are standing face-to-face with a passport acceptance agent and they specifically instruct you to sign it. If you sign it at home, they'll make you start the paperwork all over again.
Phase 3. Apply in person and execute the plan.
All right, you've reported the crisis, you've gathered your toolkit, and now it's time to take all those documents out into the real world. You're going to need to visit a passport acceptance facility. This is a designated location, it's often a post office, maybe a clerk of court, or honestly even a public library, where a certified agent reviews your application, verifies your documents, and yes, finally tells you it is time to sign. To find the one closest to your house, just use the location finder right on the State Department's website. If your travel is incredibly urgent, like life or death urgent, you might actually need to make an appointment at a regional passport agency instead.
When you actually show up to your appointment, bring the whole shebang: forms, the ID, the photocopies, the photo. Also, provide any tiny details you can possibly remember about your old passport: the number, the issue date, exactly where and when you lost it. Why? Because if your information about the lost passport is incomplete, the State Department might pause your application to request more information, which completely delays your new passport. So over-deliver on the details.
Phase 4. Breaking down the fees under the June 2026 fee schedule.
Now for everyone's favorite part of an in-person government visit, paying the fees. Adults 16 and older face a unique dual fee structure. Let's look closely at the math here, because you're actually paying two separate entities out of two separate buckets. If you want the standard passport book, the application fee that goes straight to the Department of State is $130. But you also have to hand over a $35 acceptance fee directly to the facility that's processing you, so that's $165 total. If you just want a passport card, it's $30 plus the $35 facility fee. And if you want the whole package, both the book and the card, you pay $160 to the State Department, plus that single $35 facility fee.
Now, if you're staring at your calendar and panicking because your next trip is creeping up way too fast, you do have an option. For an extra $60, you can request expedited processing. This basically pushes your application toward the front of the line at the State Department.
Furthermore, there's an optional fee of $23.36. This is specifically for 1 to 3 day delivery, meaning once your physical passport book is actually printed and totally finished, they'll use faster shipping to get it to your U.S. mailing address.
Phase 5. Tracking, receiving it, and playing the waiting game.
So you've handed over your documents, you've paid your fees, and now you enter the waiting game. But setting the proper expectations here is absolutely crucial so you aren't just hovering by the mailbox every single day. Behind the scenes, the State Department is verifying your citizenship. They're checking your identity, and they're reviewing your lost passport report. If everything aligns, they approve it. But you aren't left totally in the dark during this process. You can track your application status online using the State Department's portal, and you can even sign up to receive automatic email updates as it moves through the system. Eventually, the new passport is produced and dropped in the mail.
Okay, I need to debunk a massive misconception that constantly frustrates travelers. Expedited processing and 1 to 3 day delivery are two entirely different things. Paying $60 for expedited processing means the government works on your file faster. It's like paying the chef to cook your meal quicker. Paying for 1 to 3 day delivery only pays for the mail truck to drive faster after the passport is already printed. So if you pay for 1 to 3 day delivery, please do not expect a brand new passport to arrive on your doorstep 3 days from the time you applied.
And there you have it. You have navigated the forms, the fees, and the waiting game. Your identity is officially protected and your shiny new replacement is in your hand. You completely conquered the bureaucracy this time. But having survived this whole gauntlet, what foolproof systems are you going to build to ensure you never, ever have to go through this again? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and safe travels out there.